The distress signal cut through subspace like a dying scream. The hegemony found us. We need the ghost. Captain Marcus Rivera closed his eyes. They were asking for a ship that didn't exist. For 50 years, stories spread through human colonies. Whispers in dark bars. Tales told to frighten children. The ghost of Andromeda. A phantom warship that appeared when all hope was lost. Survivors swore they'd seen it. A massive black vessel with no markings. No registry. No crew anybody could identify. The galactic hegemony dismissed it as propaganda. Human fairy tales, Supreme Commander Zek announced. Desperate lies from a dying species. There is no ghost ship. There is no miraculous savior. But the stories persisted. New Singapore saved from orbital bombardment. The colony ship Esperanza rescued from pirates. Always the same details. A ship appearing from nowhere. Weapons that shouldn't exist. Then vanishing without a trace. Captain Rivera commanded the defense station above Haven Colony. 20 million civilians below. 3 hegemony dreadnoughts approaching. His 12 patrol ships might as well be paper planes. Haven would fall in hours. Unless... Sir, should we send the signal? Lieutenant Torres asked. Rivera laughed bitterly. Send a distress call to a myth? That's our plan. Do we have another option, sir? They didn't. Rivera activated the emergency beacon. Added the words every human knew but none truly believed would work. This is Haven Colony. The hegemony found us. We need the ghost. Space remained empty. Of course it did. Myths don't answer distress calls. The hegemony fleet dropped from hyperspace precisely on schedule. 3-kilometer-long dreadnoughts. Each one capable of glassing a continent. Supreme Commander Zek's voice boomed across all frequencies. Haven Colony, you have sheltered terrorists and refused hegemony authority. Your sentence is death. Your example will teach others the price of defiance. Rivera's hands shook. Not from fear. From rage. Haven sheltered refugees. Children fleeing your slave camps. Slaves. Citizens. The distinction is irrelevant. You had 1 hour to surrender. That hour has passed. The dreadnought's main guns began charging. Planet-killer weapons. Rivera watched the energy readings climb. His patrol ships formed a pathetic line. David versus 3 Goliaths. All ships prepare to A. The sensors screamed. Something massive had just translated into real space. Behind the hegemony fleet. Impossible close. Impossibly quiet. It was black. Not painted black. Not dark metal. Black like space itself had taken form. 2 kilometers of angular depth. No running lights. No identification. No visible weapons ports. Just presence. What in the void is that? Someone whispered. The hegemony noticed too late. Zek's voice crackled with confusion. Unknown vessel, identify yourself. You have entered a hegemony military operation. Withdraw immediately or... The ghost spoke. One voice. Male. Calm. Cold. Supreme Commander Zek, you are targeting human civilians. This action stops now. You have 10 seconds to power down your weapons and leave this system. Zek laughed. 1 ship against 3 dreadnoughts? You humans and your delusions. All vessels, new target. Destroy that. 5 seconds. Fire everything. The hegemony fleet unleashed hell. Plasma beams. Antimatter torpedoes. Kinetic rounds traveling at fractional light speed. Enough firepower to crack a small moon. The ghost didn't move. Didn't dodge. The barrage hit empty space. Passed through where the ship should be. Like shooting at a shadow. Phase shift technology, Torres breathed. They're not completely in our dimension. That's impossible, Rivera said. But he was watching it happen. Time's up, the ghost announced. The black ship solidified. Weapons ports opened along its hull. Not dozens. Not hundreds. Thousands. They fired once. The first dreadnought's shields flared and died. Its armor peeled away like old paint. The ship twisted, compressed, and collapsed into itself. Gone in 3 seconds. The second dreadnought tried to run. Space around it warped. Gravity increased 1,000-fold in a localized field. The ship crumpled like aluminum foil. His death scream echoed across subspace. Zek's flagship remained. The Supreme Commander's voice had lost all arrogance. What are you? What kind of weapons are those? The kind you forced us to build. The kind we hoped never to use. Every dead human colony. Every enslaved world. Every child you murdered. We remember them all. Please, we can negotiate. The hegemony will recognize human sovereignty. Too late for words, Zek. Far too late. You called us weak, called us prey, hunted us across the galaxy. Did you really think we weren't preparing? Did you think we'd roll over and die? The flagship tried one last desperate attack. Launched every escape pod. Fired every weapon. Dumped its entire nuclear arsenal. The Ghost's response was almost gentle. A single beam of twisted space. The flagship elongated. Stretched like taffy. Then snapped back into a point. The Supreme Commander's final scream cut off mid-syllable. Silence filled the void. Rivera's bridge crew stared at their screens. At the debris that had been 3 dreadnoughts. At the impossible ship hanging in space. Ghost vessel, Rivera called out. This is Haven Colony. We thank you. Who are you? Why reveal yourself now? A long pause. Then, we are humanity's anger given form. We are the price of pushing a species too far. For 50 years, we stayed hidden. Hoped the hegemony would leave humanity alone. They didn't. So we won't. But who commands you? What government? What world? Every human who died screaming commands us. Every colony turned to ash. Every child sold into slavery. We are not from one world, Captain. We are from all of them. And we are done hiding. The Ghost began to fade. Not cloaking. Something else. Sliding sideways out of reality. Wait. Rivera called. Will we see you again? If we need help. You won't need us, Captain. This was the first revelation. There are 12 more ships like this one. The hegemony will learn that human space is no longer safe for them. The hunters have become the hunted. 12 ships? Against their entire fleet? A different voice answered. Female. Younger. Angry. 13 ships. And Captain? We've been holding back. What you saw today was a warning shot. Pray the hegemony is smart enough to take it. The Ghost vanished. Not into hyperspace. Not behind a cloak. Simply gone. Like it had never been there at all. But the debris remained. 3 dreadnoughts reduced to scrap in minutes. Rivera's communication board lit up. Other colonies. Other fleets. All reporting the same thing. Black ships appearing. Hegemony forces vanishing. The myth was real. And it was angry. On Haven, 20 million people looked up at the stars. Children who'd grown up fearing hegemony raids. Parents who'd lost everything. Grandparents who remembered when humanity stood alone. They cheered until their voices gave out. The war wasn't over. Might never be truly over. But for the first time in 50 years, humanity had hope. Out there, sliding between dimensions, 13 ghosts prowled the void. Protectors. Avengers. Myths made real. The hegemony had pushed humanity to the edge. Now they'd learn what humans did when cornered. What they built in the dark. What they became when given no choice but to become monsters themselves. The Ghost of Andromeda was no longer a bedtime story. It was a promise. And a threat. The galaxy would tremble at what came next.